Hey guys, so today we're going to be spraying some more neem oil on the cucumbers and zucchini squash to try and prevent the powdery mildew from killing them. Alright, let's get started. Hey guys, we're doing a voiceover for this section of the video because the pump sound is so incredibly annoying. So I'm not going to torture you and make you listen to that. In the pump, I have mixed up a mixture of some warm water, neem oil concentrate, and just a touch of an all-natural detergent that I have. Everything I have seen in other videos, all of the things that I've read online about neem oil say that mixing it with just a touch of a natural detergent is good to keep it emulsified in the water and to prevent the neem oil from clogging up the sprayer. So we've added just a touch of a very natural detergent, nothing toxic in here at all. Neem oil is, of course, an all-natural product, organic, fungicide, and pesticide that is used for many different purposes. Today we're using it to combat and fight a war against powdery mildew. Powdery mildew completely overtook my cucumber plants very quickly. I've sprayed them about a week ago and cut off a lot of the leaves that were heavily affected. So these plants look fairly green, but there are still some sections that have powdery mildew on them. So we want to treat them again and continually treat them about every week or every other week until the problem is gone. And then probably spray them lightly every 2 to 3 weeks to prevent it from coming back. So today we're doing a really heavy spray. We're thoroughly spraying tops and bottoms of all of the leaves for the squash and the cucumbers until they are completely dripping in the neem oil mixture. From everything that I've learned about neem oil in researching it, this is the proper way of doing it. You also want to be spraying neem oil in the evening or very, very early morning, because if it's sitting on the plants in the middle of the day, especially in the sun and hot summer days like we have here in Los Angeles, when it gets above 80 degrees or so, neem oil will start to completely burn your plants. Apparently it crisps mud, dries them off, burns them until there is nothing left. So you do not want to be spraying this in the middle of the day, especially in the middle of a hot, sunny summer day. And that's all we get here in LA right now. So I'm spraying in the evening so they have time to sit and dry overnight. I'm also going to be spraying the tomato plants that are across the way from the squash and cucumbers, because tomato plants are susceptible to powdery mildew just the same as squash and cucumbers. The problem started on the cucumbers. About a week and a half later, it moved over to the squash plants, and I don't want it infecting my tomatoes. My one giant tomato plant that is leaning and 3 years old already has some disease on it, so maybe this might take care of that. We'll see. But the main purpose of spraying the tomato plants is to prevent powdery mildew from transferring to them from the squash and cucumber plants. Powdery mildew is a fungal disease. It spreads very quickly. Fungus produces spores. Spores fly around in the air, and insects hopping on the cucumbers and squash are also hopping on to the tomatoes and will spread these sorts of diseases that are on the surface of the leaves very, very fast. So I want to try and prevent that from happening. So I'm going to spray the tomatoes in a preventative measure. I don't want to be spraying really anything on my plants ever. I want this to be an organic garden as much as possible. I do use some inorganic fertilizer here and there occasionally, but mostly organic fertilizers, mostly organic products, organic soils. I try to be as organic as possible because I do plan on eating all of the food that I grow. But in this case, even though this is an organic fungicide, organic, pesticide, I still don't like spraying anything on my plants. So I'm going to do this because I'm trying to combat a disease, but this is not a garden where I'm trying to be spraying fungicides and pesticides just to have a perfect garden. That's not the point of my garden. The point of my garden is to be able to eat food. So we try not to spray anything, but we're at war with powdery mildew today. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.